Hi, I'm Jane Westman, your book marketing pro. I'm sitting here tonight talking with my good friend Sarah Kelly, the social media expert.
You know, Jane, we talk a lot about book marketing in these videos, but we also talk about business sometimes quite a bit. And I was wondering if you could share a little bit about what's on your mind.
When it comes to business, as you know, I think a lot about women and entrepreneurship and women and their careers. And of course, I wrote a book on the topic, which was published in 1995. So I was kind of on the cutting edge of women in entrepreneurship. But certain things that I wrote about almost 30 years ago really haven't changed. And I still think a lot about women and perfectionism. And I think about how trying to be perfect keeps holding us back.
I want to say I refer to that book. You write a lot about budgeting, billing, running a business, the nuts and bolts that is still very useful for me. So thank you for that. What else is on your mind? We've talked about perfection, but I know you've been covering a lot of topics in our calls, and I just want to make sure you share them with the world.
Sure. Well, let's talk a little bit more about perfection. You know, it's funny. As you know, I keep a notebook with various ideas, and I'm looking down at the notebook now. But one of the interesting things that I was thinking about is this idea that no one is perfect, yet so many of us spend so much time trying to prove that we are. And that stands in the way of both men and women, but in particularly, women seem to have a lot of trouble when they make mistakes. They feel really guilty about not doing things right. They can't just let it go and move on. It keeps us from delegating responsibilities. So if we're in an entrepreneurial position, instead of growing our business and becoming more successful, what happens is we try to do too much ourselves instead of delegating to other people. And I think in the career with women who are trying to move up within an organizational structure, this sense of perfectionism also gets in their way.
Would you give any suggestions? What gets you out of the perfection mindset?
Recognizing that that's what's holding you back. I think having an awareness that you're not moving forward, whether you're trying to write a report, or for me, write press materials, or for an author trying to write a book. When you get really jammed, it's often because of this sense that what you're about to do isn't perfect. And also attack your whatever it is you're doing in little pieces. I think that helps us overcome a paralysis of thinking that right from the beginning we have to have the job complete, the report done, whatever it is we're doing the negotiation properly. Take everything step by step and see if that helps.
It's interesting because we were also talking about commitment and the things people say when they're not that committed to something. And I wonder if you could share some of your thoughts about that.
You and I have spoken with each other about lack of commitment. Not that you and I are ever uncommitted,
Never.
But we've talked about this topic, and it came up the other day when I told you I was playing tennis with a guy who as my partner. We had a little disagreement on the court, and his response was, "Well, Jane, it's only a game." And I'm thinking, yeah, it's only a game, but it's something I spend a lot of time doing. He spends a lot of time doing. And you could say it's only about anything. So you can say it's only a report. It's only a job. It's only money. So if you hear yourself using that excuse, recognize that it's a lack of commitment. And is that lack of commitment coming from fear of failure?
It's interesting that both these issues, being paralyzed for fear of making a mistake or shying away from really making a commitment to something because it's only a fill in the blank, are both really about fear.
I think this comes down to self-awareness, Sarah. You have to be aware of your feelings and what's going on inside of you, and stop and take a minute to register. Oh, I have that weird feeling in my gut. I'm worried about this. And just go, what can I do to solve this problem? Instead of it's only a game, say, yes, it's a game, but what can I do to win? Instead of thinking I'm losing this tennis game, I have to think only about winning the 1 point that I'm playing, not what came before, not what's going to come after, but focus exactly on what I'm doing in the moment.